Welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm going to be speaking about having your moon conjuncting your partner's Saturn in SYNASTRY. So having the SYNASTRY dynamic can make for a very interesting dynamic between two partners in a relationship. With the Saturn and the moon, with the moon you have somebody's more emotional, more understanding and intuitive side, and it's meeting up in a conjunction with somebody's Saturn, which is a more structured, responsible, very serious kind of energy. And those two coming together can be very essential, especially when it comes to a balanced and lasting connection in a relationship. And generally with the conjunction, this can be a very powerful aspect to be meeting up in, and it can bring some intensity to both of these energies and the way in which they act out their different roles. And the way in which these two planets' energy can really balance each other out in a way that's so essential to the relationship, because too much focus on the moon without the Saturn can lead to emotional intensity but without any stability. While on the other hand, too much of the Saturn energy without the moon energy can result in the relationship being very stable, yet it can also be very emotionally distant, which can also be problematic in the relationship and the connection as well. And so when it comes to moon Saturn aspects in SYNASTRY, it really is about finding a balance between the emotional connection and the practical aspects of their relationship. And with the moon conjuncting Saturn aspect between two people in a relationship in SYNASTRY, this relationship can feel like there was a sense of seriousness from both of the partners, especially around commitment and around what they're trying to build with their relationship right from the start. On the positive, there's the sense of emotional security in this relationship, and their relationship can be very grounded in realism and a strong sense of commitment towards each other. They could take things like family and tradition very seriously, or they could instinctually follow traditional roles in this relationship. And there could be a lot of expectations placed in this relationship and responsibilities. The Saturn person kind of brings this very steady and supportive energy to the moon person's more emotional side, while the moon person brings this nurturing quality to this relationship. And even though this aspect is not necessarily going to make the relationship one that's super carefree or exciting in a whimsical kind of a sense, but it is one where the commitments in the relationship can be taken very seriously and especially be honored by both of the partners very seriously. The moon person especially might learn a new way to express their emotional side in this relationship as a result of being with the Saturn person. And this is because with the moon person, when they look at the Saturn person, they could feel or sense the sense of strictness or overly seriousness and feel like they need to water down their emotions or kind of cap them. And that can lead to them finding a new way or learning a new way to express their emotional side. And even though it isn't necessarily always the case that the Saturn person is being overly strict with the moon person or being too serious, this moon person can just sense this, or they perceive the Saturn person in this way, and they could take it upon themselves to want to kind of water down or hold back their emotional side, and they kind of learn and adopt a new way of expressing their emotional side in this relationship with the Saturn person, because they can feel like there's a sense that the Saturn person just won't understand or won't be as receptive to that side of them. So they need to kind of express it in a way that they feel like will go with the Saturn person. And the Saturn person might even just be unaware of that effect on the moon person. And that can be where the challenges can come up with this aspect, is that in the long run, the moon person kind of holding back or holding in so much, especially emotionally, can lead to that emotional distancing in this connection. And it can be a relationship that has a lot of ons and offs, where they can have these moments of emotional distance and even that can manifest as literal separations for periods of time, and they can still come back together with these kind of realizations that they kind of need each other. And it's possible to kind of feel trapped in this dynamic of ups and downs and feeling trapped. But the way the Saturn person handles that sense of the Moon person holding back or kind of trying to emotionally distance or hide their emotions and feelings from the Saturn person because they think it won't be well received, actually can have a negative effect on this relationship and is not necessarily benefiting the Saturn person in the long run in this relationship, who feels the sense of the Moon person being emotionally inauthentic in their expression. And it can be that moments where they are distance from each other is when they really realize just how deep their connection runs, and that could be what brings them back together again in this relationship. And they can keep going through this kind of dynamic of these ups and downs or these distancing coming back together until they figure out a way of just being able to be genuinely vulnerable with each other and expressing their true selves with each other. And ultimately the connection really works with this aspect because there's a strong sense of responsibility towards the commitment and towards making it work from both of the partners. Even though at times connection can feel like there's a bit of a delicate energy between the two partners, they're really aiming to build a stable and secure sense of home life with each other. And with this aspect in their relationship, this can really bring a lot of growth in being able to do that with each other. That contributes to both of their emotional well-being and feeling of safety to honestly open up to each other, whether it's emotionally or as far as their communication. And there's a lot of potential for a lot of learning to happen from each other. The Moon person can be somebody who's more living in the moment, and the Saturn person can also learn a lot of emotional sensitivity and empathy from the Moon person and about being able to live in the moment, whereas the Saturn person can kind of be very structured around being able to really plan when it comes to the way they're approaching building that stable and secure foundation around a home, a happy home life. And the Moon person learn a lot about timing, expression, and even about being more methodical or strategic about how they express their emotional side. Well, that does it for this video on having the Moon conjunct your partner Saturn in SYNASTRY. Thank you so much for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it and found it helpful. If you did, please be sure to give this video a thumbs up and to subscribe to this channel for more videos. Well, that is where I love and leave you. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye guys.